पुराय देशातली आमकां फिल्मां दाखयता आनी हीच फिल्मां जर बरी सुंदर अशी च्या घेवन गरम गरम च्या पीत आनी पिकॉकचो मॅगझीन हातीन घेवन ही जर फिल्मां आमकां पळोवपाक मेळ्ळी जाल्यार वा तेज्या सारके दुसरी खोशी आमकां कसलीच ना. उमेद जाता जेन्ना हीच फिल्मां आमकां फिल्म कलाकारां वांगडा त्यांच्या सांगातान बसून पळोवपाक मेळटा. पत्रकार परिशदेंत फिल्मांची चर्चा जाता. अशीच एक फिल्म गुलजार बद्दल चर्चा करता रोना अगरवाल.
The international competition category is one of the most keenly watched segments at every IFFI. Today we are in conversation with the director of Turkish film Gulizar, Ms. Belkis Bayrak. And she took time to talk to us on the sides of a press conference. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me here.
Congratulations on the film being here. Where else on the festival circuit has the film been?
We made the world premiere at Toronto Film Festival and the European premiere at San Sebastian Film Festival. Then it was in Estonia with Tallinn Film Festival, and we made last week French premiere at Aras Film Festival and national premiere at Golden Orange Antalya, and 2 more festivals in Turkey, and now today it's the Asian premiere day in Goa. So it's a bit busy September and November.
I know that the synopsis of the film and the way everybody has been talking about the film says that it's about a young woman, but I think your film is more about trauma and the way people handle it. Can you talk a little bit about the inspiration behind the film and how you see trauma yourself?
As I told in the conference, this story belonged to my tutor, but it was completely different, and I worked too much on details, especially, as you say, to portray trauma. How is it trauma? Is it something social, or is it something very personal and individual? So I believe in the end it's always an individual process, whatever people try to understand or not. This was the main one of the main thing, and I also think that trauma is invisible, because for people who has been traumatized, it's not easy to talk about, it's not easy to speak out. As you know, for example, in our film industry, we have Me Too movement for all professionals, because of course they are very talkative people in society, but when it comes to trauma, it's not easy to speak. So on that sense, I can say the film follows trauma, and we try to understand if it's invisible, how can we make it visible on the screen? So this was the main focus on our film.
Is this a subject that you would normally have chosen? This is one of your earliest films. Is this a subject that's close to your heart, or would you have liked to have chosen maybe a lighter subject?
I think as a writer and director, we don't have a luxury to choose. I think it captures us, it sticks our minds, and then we decide to make a film. Yes, I agree with you for both for production wise, because we made the film in 2 countries, and also with the subject wise, it's dealing with post-trauma. Yes, it was tough, but I'm very happy, because it was the first film I felt that my voice is heard well. So at the end, yes, I can say yes, it was a nice choice.
Well, I wish you all the very best with the distribution of the film as well. Any future endeavors that you would like to talk about? Any plans for the next film?
Actually, it's already started. Yes, it's a story which I'm thinking for 2 years. And last week I had a chance to pitch my new project at the same time the screening of my film was happening. So I hope and pray it took not too much time to make it happen.
Well, all the very best. We really wish you luck, and I hope we see more great cinema coming from your production house. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much for having me and for these lovely questions, and thank you for the old wishes.
जगाच्या सगळ्या कोनशातले कलाकार इफीत सहभाग झाल्या. दोंगरा माथ्यावयल्यान फिल्माचे झरे गोंयांत सकयल मरेन पावल्यात. हय, हांव उलयतां भुतानी फिल्माचे. ब्रायन डिसोजान चर्चा केली भूतानी चित्रपट निर्मात्याकडे.
Tell us about the film, a short synopsis.
For me, the major theme in the film is food, because I realized that we don't really have a word for love in Bhutan, and people are not in terms like expressive about saying I love you in words. The way people express love is through food.
Even in India, we do socialize over food, and the variety is great. But what makes it particularly special for Bhutan?
The Bhutan landscape, I don't mean just the physical landscape, but just that the way, the sensibility, and the mannerisms, and the way the culture works. And it's such a close-knit society. Like even today, I mean, I know of India. I have Indian roots, so I do know that this is where India comes from. But a lot has changed now with development, and with the growing cities. But I think that part is still very intact in Bhutan.
What are the challenges that you face in an era of social change and Instagram, and everything is 24/7?
A lot of people always ask, because you're a female filmmaker, they always ask, and they always emphasize on the word female filmmaker. For me, I feel this is all a state of mind. If you allow this thing to happen, that I'm a female filmmaker, then you're going to have a certain kind of obstacles. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a storyteller.
Tell me more about the Sustainability Development Fund and the constitutional thing, briefly, if you might.
The constitution does not allow cutting off the forest. It's 75% forest, it's carbon negative, and that is why I think, because some people say Bhutan is expensive to travel to. It's not expensive, it's priceless actually, because yes, you have to pay a sustainable development fee, but it's going for to keep Mother Earth. It's going to keep the environment serene and pristine.
Tell me about your other films. Are they also about Bhutan, the feature films?
My first film is called Gangnam Girls, and it's about four women friends. And again, it's a friendship story that can be, everyone everywhere in the world, we showed it in different places and everyone related to it. But again, what makes it unique is that it is set in Bhutan, the Bhutan backdrop. It's set in the mountains, and that's what kind of brings about different kind of challenges in the friendship. And my second film, which is called Bilwa, which means an offering, it's about a Bhutanese monk, a Buddhist monk who sets out of the monastery and encounters, becomes a witness in a drug overdose case.
Sharmi, why did you make film your chosen medium? You could have been a writer, you could have been, a writer or author, or maybe some other medium.
I primarily am a storyteller, and my background is theatre. I do a lot of theatre in Bhutan, and that's my first love and passion. I've done animation film, I've done like a lot of mixed media and dance and other things. So I let the story select the medium. I do not let the medium dominate the story. So With Love from Bhutan needed a film format. But I recently did a play called The Window, which required a stage format. So we went ahead and performed it on stage. So.
Food is the subtext or the context to the movie that you've screened here. What's your favorite Bhutanese food?
Emma is chili, and datsi is cheese. That's the national dish of Bhutan, and I absolutely love it with some buckwheat pancakes or red rice.
कितलेशेच फिल्म मोगी इफी निमतान गोंयान येता आनी गोंयच्या मोगान पडटा. अशीच एक फ्रेंच एक्टर जी फाटले 12 वर्सां सावन गोंयान येता आनी फिल्म फेस्टिवलाक येता मुद्दम गोंयची आनी गोंया विशींची ही तिची ओड जाणून घेतली लुशान फर्नांडिसान.
So I have with me Marianne Bahu, who has acted in Back to Pondicherry, and she's a film enthusiast besides an actress. She has gone for 42 film festival at Cannes, yes, and 12 year at the film festival in India.
Yes.
So can you tell us about the film festival here today?
Well, I mean, of course, The first one I attended about 15 years ago was totally different. Now it's a big, enormous, chaotic place, but wonderful, where you meet wonderful people. And just to give you an example, this morning I attended not a workshop, but a conference at the Kala Academy of one of the best animation person in America. And it was fascinating, so there and giving a prize and all that. So, you know, you have the privilege to meet people, but also for us, it's wonderful because your cinema is very special, but doesn't travel enough. So it's why we are so happy to discover here all your films, and especially the Indian mind, because you are the best, you know, in all these new modern technologies. So we are just fascinated by what you are doing.
Oh, that's wonderful to know. So now we are coming to the end of the film festival. Could you tell us one of the highlights of the whole film festival, or a movie that you really enjoyed?
Alors, you are not going to believe it. For the first time, usually I see 10 films a day, but I saw very few films because I was at the Film Bazaar. So I was more connected to young directors who are making their films. Yesterday, I was very impressed because, of course, I wanted to follow up the Goan filmmakers, because many years ago, I started a small company. We don't sell, we don't buy anything, but called Goa Film Alliance, where I was helping the talent of Goa. And then I saw the wonderful documentaries made about Goa, and also a short film, absolutely excellent. So I'm happy to see that now the Goan directors are on. And in fact, during monsoon, I'm going to do a film by Ashish Shah, who is from Goa. It's called Sacred Forest.
Wow. So did you see the Goan documentaries yesterday
Yes.
that played?
Yes.
So there was one by Doordarshan itself.
Yes.
Famously found at 15.
Of course.
What did you think of that?
It was wonderful. It was magic, and also I had the privilege to know lots of people who were interviewed of the film.
Thank you so much. Wonderful to speak with you, and for helping the film festival reach where it is. So,
Well,
pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, and congratulations to Goa and IFI.
इफी महोत्सव हो फिल्मापुरतोच न्हय, तर हांगा पुराय भारतांतली कला, नृत्य सादर जाता. आयनॉक्सा भायर स्टेजीचेर मनोरंजनाच्यो कार्यावळी जातात. तशेंच जिबेर रूच हाडपी खाणाचे स्टॉल सुद्दां हांगा आसा. जेका दर्यावेळो आवडटा तांकां रेंवेची कलाकृती सुद्दां थंय आमकां पळोवंक मेळटा. एल्ड्रील मॉन्तेरो आमकां ह्या विशयी सांगता.
On the sidelines of IFI 2024, we have various events curated for the delegates and film enthusiasts. IFI Fiesta adds flavor to art and culture. 101 artists from across the country performed at the film festival this year. Here's a look at some of their stunning performances. I met up with a film delegate, young at heart. Hi, with me I have Vishwanath, who's one of the delegates all the way from Bangalore to come to watch and be a part of IFI 2024. Vishwanath, could you tell us about this year's IFI and your experience of this year's IFI 2024?
I mean, IFI has been one of the principal festivals that I have to attend.
Okay.
Because I have attended earlier the Carlo Varvi, then the Cannes, Toronto, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, all other international film festivals. And IFI is one of the important calendar festival, film festival, calendar festival for me, person as a cinephile, as a film critic, and as an ordinary, delegate in that sense. And the kind of films that are actually brought gives a very different and varied flavor
Okay.
of the international films that one can watch. Yeah.
Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you so much. Yeah. That's
At the Miramar Beach, one comes across a stunning sand sculpture of the four icons Raj Kapoor, Tapan Sinha, Akineni Nageshwara Rao, and Mohammad Rafiq by noted sand artist Sudarshan Patnaik.
फिल्माच्या ह्या झेल्यांत गोंयची फिल्मां सुद्दां गुंतल्यात आनी ताचे ल्हार प्रसार भारतीच्या माध्यमांतल्यान मुखार व्हेला. हे आसा ते ल्हार. नमस्कार, आयज आमच्या वांगडा हांगा आसा गुंतता हृदय हे ह्या फिल्मांतले एक्टर राजू पेडणेकर आनी आयकुया तेंच्या बद्दल तेंच्या फिल्मांतले थोडे कितें. सर, तुमकां येवकार.
नमस्कार. गुंतता हृदय हे म्हणजे इंग्लिशीन ताका एंटँगल म्हणटा आनी मिस्टर दामले जे FTIन शिकयतात तांणी प्रोड्यूस केला आनी ताणें बरयलें आनी साईनाथ आमचो गोंयचो साईनाथ उसकयकर हांणी डिरेक्ट केला आनी हातूंत चडशे सगळे टॅक्निकल सगळे FTIचेच आसा आनी फक्त एक्टर जे आसा ते सगळे गोंयचे आसा आनी आमी हांगा सावड्डेकर वाडो हांगा शूट केले ते आनी ताका जायते फेस्टिवल इंटरनॅशनल फेस्टिवलाक बी स्क्रिनींग जाला आनी सेवरल प्लेसीस अवॉर्ड्स बी ताका मेळ्ळ्या. म्हाका बेस्ट एक्टर अवॉर्ड मेळ्ळा आनी खंय खंय आनी ते आतां डायरेक्टर्स कट गोंयचे इफीन ते आतां 27 तारखेक सकाळीं 9:15 दाखयतात. सो बरें दिसता की फायनली गोंयान इफी हो एक मंच आसा आमच्या खातीर आनी तातूंत गोवन सॅक्शनूय आसा तें एक आमच्या गोंयकारांक पळोवपाक मेळटा आनी आमच्या घरच्या लोकांक स्क्रिनार पळोवपाक मेळटा, आमच्या ऑडियन्सा स्क्रिनार पळोवपाक मेळटा. ही एक खुशीची बात.
म्हाका सांगा सर, तुमचे मुखार आनीकूय फिल्म तुमचे हांगा येवपाचे तेज्या बद्दल सांगा, जे मोहेंजोदारो तेज्या बद्दल.
आणखीन एक मोहनजोदारो ह्या वर्सा ताका नॅशनल अवॉर्ड मेळ्ळा. दॅट इज अ डॉक्युमेंटरी 2 वरांची आनी म्हजे बरोबर आसा हे अशोक राणे तांणी डिरेक्ट केल्या अँड ताजे सविस्तर ते सांगतले एक्झॅक्टली ताजें कितें आसा बिकॉज डायरेक्टर नाशिल्लो हांव सांगपाचो, पण ते स्वता हांगा आसा आनी खूब व्हडलो अनुभव आसा आनी हे गिरण गांवचेर आसा. मुंबयची आतां जी मोलां दिसता ते पयलीं गिरणी आशिल्ल्यो ताजेर आसा, कशी कॉलॅप्स जाली आनी तांणी हें जवळून पळयलां हें सगळें. तें एक कशी वाताहत जाली एका संस्कृतीची ते तांणी जवळून पळयलां म्हणून ही डॉक्युमेंटरी एकदम जिवंत कशी दिसता ती तांच्या अनुभवा खातीर.
आणखीन एक मोहनजोदारो. मुंबईला जो गिरणगाव हा भाग होता, म्हणजे मुंबईचे गिरणगाव, पेडर रोड, दादर, मिडल क्लास हे सगळ्या वस्ती आहेत. तसं गिरणगाव आहे ते गिरणी कामगारांनी वसवलेलं आणि पहिली गिरणी मुंबईमध्ये 1854ला आली. तर तिथून इंडस्ट्रियलायझेशन सुरू झालं आणि मग पहिल्यांदा कामगार बाहेर नाही आले. पहिले आपल्या कोकणातनं आले, मग महाराष्ट्रातनं इतर भागातनं आले, मग UPमधून आले, मग आंध्रमधून आले आणि एक असं गाव बसलं. बघता बघता एक गाव बसलं आणि त्यांनी तिथे आल्यानंतर ते वेगळ्या प्रांताचे, जाती धर्माचे सगळे होते, पण ते स्वतःच म्हणतात आमची एकच जात, आमची जात गिरणी कामगाराची. असं त्यांनी ते गाव वसवलं. त्या गावाचं सांस्कृतिक, सामाजिक, शैक्षणिक सगळं त्यांनी त्यांच्या वेळेत होतं. ते स्वतः शिकले नाही, पण मुलांनी शिकावं म्हणून त्यांनी शाळा काढल्या, क्लासेस काढले, लायब्ररी काढल्या, असं खूप काही घडलं. एवढं प्रचंड त्या 132 वर्षामध्ये घडलं आणि 1982मध्ये एक मोठा संप झाला. गिरण्यांमध्ये खूप संप झाले, पण तो जो झाला तो शेवटचा संप आणि तिथून सगळं संपलं. ते गाव वाईपआउट झालं, ते आकाशावरनं नाहीसं झालं. म्हणून मी त्याचं नाव आणखीन एक मोहनजोदारो असं ठेवलं आहे. ते गिरणगाव आहे, पण ते मोहनजोदारो असं की जसं एक मोहनजोदारो ही संस्कृती होती ती वाईपआउट झाली कम्प्लिटली, तसं ती संस्कृती वाईपआउट झाली. ती फिल्म केली कारण ते सगळं डॉक्युमेंट होणं फार गरजेचं होतं. आता ती फिल्म मी दाखवतो, लोकांना आवडते त्याच्याविषयी बोलत नाही. लोकांना ती फिल्म बघताना जे माझ्या वयाचे लोक आहेत किंवा माझ्यापेक्षा जास्त, त्यांना ते आयडेंटिफाय होतं की आमचं अशी चाळ होती, अशी आमची गिरणी होती, अशी आमची सगळे वस्ती होती, असं सगळं व्हायचं. त्यांना ते मधल्या पिढीचे लोक आहेत, ती मुलं लहान होती, त्याच्यापेक्षा लहान मुलं त्यांनाही ते आठवतं सगळं. आणि ज्यांना ते माहितीच नाही, जे पाहिलं नाही आहे पण ऐकून माहिती होतं, त्यांनासुद्धा ते बसून धक्का बसतो की एवढं 2.5 लाख कामगार एका रात्रीत बेकार झाले. 2.5 लाख कामगार आणि त्यांच्यावरती विसंबून असलेली प्रत्येक घरामध्ये 6 माणसं धरली तर ते 25 लाख लोक एका रात्रीत बेघर होऊन गेले. असं ते होतं. ते मला डॉक्युमेंट करायचं होतं, ते मी केलं आणि राजेश माझ्यावर होता. आम्ही दोघांनी म्हणून ते प्रोड्यूस केलं. राजेश तर मला खूप, आमच्या दोघांमध्ये खूप छान देवाणघेवाण आहे. ते पहिल्यांदा मी एकत्र काम केलं, पण त्याचा के सिरा सिरा, काजरो या सगळ्या फिल्ममध्ये मी त्याच्यासोबतच आहे. कारण त्याच्या के सिरा सिरा तर मला प्रचंड आवडलेली फिल्म आहे, प्रचंड आवडलेली फिल्म आहे. तर आम्ही दोघांनी म्हणून ते केलं आणि डॉक्युमेंटेशन करून ठेवलं.
इफीतली गोडी सोंपन सोंपना. जायती फिल्मां इफीन दाखयतात आनी त्याच फिल्माचो मसालो खंयचें फिल्म बरें आनी ते फिल्मा फाटल्यान कितें आसा हें गुपीत आमकां उगडाक हाडटा सचिन चट्टे.
Well, folks, the 55th edition of the International Film Festival is almost coming to an end. But in the last few days, we've seen so much of entertainment in terms of movies, film stars, and of course, lots of cine enthusiasts enjoying the festival. I have with me a lover of film. Of course, he needs no introduction. He's been talking to all of you all these days about what's happening at IFFI. Sachin, thank you for joining us on, I think, what's going to be one of the last editions of this segment, rather. So, can you tell us what's been your experience at the festival this year?
IFFI is always great because the vibe is so lovely here compared to many other festivals that happen in the country also. So IFFI is a great place to watch movies, and as a film lover, these are the best 8 days in Goa, as I say, because you can catch so much of cinema. And of course, cinema from all across the world. You can watch award-winning films. Then there are also these what I call as B-tier films, which are not so very well known, but you suddenly discover a hidden gem, and that's what I think the festival is all about. So there was enough fodder to enjoy at the festival.
Let's talk about the festival's coming to an end right now. The closing film which is going to be played. What can people expect from the film?
Well, closing film, frankly speaking, you never know because nobody has seen it before. It can be a hit, it can be a miss, but otherwise, I think over the last 8 days, we've seen some incredible stuff. Some of it is well known, like a Pedro Almodovar movie, which people knew what to expect because it also won at Venice, The Room Next Door, and it lived up to people's expectations.
Correct.
There was also one of my favorite films was Black Dog.
Black Dog. It's about a dog on screen, and I think they won an award as well.
Yeah, they won the Uncertain Regard Award at the Cannes Film Festival.
Yes.
And lovely film. I mean, it is so layered, and of course, there's Pink Floyd music in it, which we don't see too often. I mean, you put Pink Floyd, and that's it. Done.
That's it.
It's a great film by default, no matter what you do on the screen. But he's not only put Pink Floyd. There's a lovely scene in which a tiger is walking on the street, and Pink Floyd's mother is playing in the background, and there's total chaos everywhere. You can just imagine it. It was so poetic. Great film again. Yesterday night, which is on Monday night, I saw another lovely film called The New Year That Never Came. Politics in cinema is also very interesting, and history also. So in 1989, as we know, the Romanian government of Nicolae Ceausescu was thrown out. But just around Christmas time. And people were going on with their lives, and nobody knew what's going to happen. So there were 6 different lives, everybody doing something, and then suddenly the government topples. So black comedy of sorts. Where a man's son posts a letter with stuff that might incriminate him. Now he doesn't know what to do. How do you get the letter out of the box? Because if the authorities find out that even a little boy has written that, he's going to be in trouble. So he takes water and washing detergent and pours it in the post box. And then at night he asks his son, is it the first post box while going to school or coming from school? So it may not be the right. So it's that kind of comedy. But if that letter reaches the authorities, he's going to be in jail forever. That kind of thing. So very interesting film.
What was the memorable moment that you've had at this year? And I think you have something lined up for us.
Yeah, I mean the most memorable moment I would say is, when you see historical films or classic films, there is so much to it. You wonder about their art, you wonder about their craft, and they were not making it thinking that it's going to be seen by somebody 100 years later. They were doing it for the love of it, and it shows. So Dadasaheb Phalke, the father of Indian cinema, as he is known, I mean, he just made films passionately, and as we know, he had offers from Europe to come and make films there, and he refused for the simple reason, he said, I want to build a film industry in my own country in India, and that's the reason why he didn't leave. And 1919, which is 6 years later after the first Indian film, Raja Harishchandra, which was in 1913, he made Kalia Mardan. Those days the films were mostly mythological, and he cast his own daughter Mandakini as Krishna, as a little Krishna. And all the women that you see in the film are actually men dressed up as women. Even if there are 10 of them standing, they're all 10 men. But what a film! And on top of it, there was live orchestra with 8 members of the orchestra
Wow.
playing live music.
So this
there.
was at the theater
inside the
inside
theater,
the theater.
in Inox, live
Wow.
music, and very well in sync with what's going on screen.
Beautiful.
I mean, it just moves you. It makes you feel, art is so great and you are so inferior. So it was stunning, and I hope they take it to other places of the country, other parts of the state, other parts, in other cities as well, because this is something which is priceless, absolutely priceless. You can watch Kalia Mardan on YouTube, but you will not get a chance to watch it with a live orchestra.
And I got to say thank you, Sachin.
Thank you
for
so
taking
much.
the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
गोंयांत इफीतलो सण हो सासणाचो. दिसा फाटल्यान रात आनी राती फाटल्यान दीस येता. तशेंच इश्टानो नवी नवी उमेद घेवन जायतीं फिल्मां घेवन आमी ह्या इफीच्या सणाक दाखयता. हो महोत्सव असोच मुखार येतलो आनीकूय नवी फिल्मां घेवन आनी बरे तरेन सजतलो. तेज्या खातीर आमकां तेका सुद्दां केन्ना तरी मुखार व्हरता आसतना बाय बाय हें करचेंच पडटा. तर इश्टानो मुखार आनीकूय फिल्मां आमी घेवन येतलीं तुमच्या खातीर. मेळुया. डीडी गोवा. नमस्कार.